Everyone makes mistakes, but when you're a freelancer, those mistakes can cost you money and sometimes a lot of it. So today we're looking at the worst mistakes freelancers on Reddit have made and how they solve them so that you can avoid them as well. There's this post from 4 years ago, which is very interesting. It's titled, "It's Not Going Well, Here's My Mistakes." I officially started my freelance activity in January 2021. I never really put my earnings in a spreadsheet. I knew it was almost nothing, but lay them out this way hurts. The trend is clear. I'm sinking. I never made the minimum wage, not even a month. Here's how my monthly earning looked like. So 0 in January, 701 euros in February, 400 euros in March, 362 in April, and 194 in May. So he's decreasing every month. I do have the skills, but what is holding me back is my attitude and fear. I think this is probably what is holding back most freelancers, to be honest. Skills are usually not the issue. Most of the income has been made on Upwork, and each client was very happy with the job. Had a couple of opportunities outside Upwork too, but in the attempt of having my boundaries respected, I just got too aggressive or passive aggressive and screwed up the relationships. Followed the wrong advices here like a fool. Okay, that's a dumb mistake. Don't make the same mistake. You have to probably take every piece of advice with a grain of salt. So on one side, you do want clients to respect your boundaries, but you also have to pay your bills. You have to find that balance. What have I been doing all this time? I kept jumping from one shiny thing to the next, kept procrastinating, action faking, occupying myself with things that make me feel productive but are not. Example, I made my own website 7 times and each time it took days or, days or weeks. Okay, don't do this. Don't do this. Your website does not matter. Just get clients. Okay, I say that like it's easy, but you need to focus first on getting clients and then, you can focus on the other stuff. But don't waste time on making websites again and again when you don't need to. The next sentence he says is, I rejected opportunities a lot. Yes, again, first put money on the table, put food on the table, pay your bills. Once your bills are paid, then you can afford to be picky about the type of clients you want. It's so much easier to ask for a better rate when you know you're not gonna starve if you say no to this client, right? So you have to put yourself in that position where you can say no to things, but before being able to say no, you have to actually get enough jobs coming in. You have to have enough money in the bank that you can survive for the coming weeks or coming months, right? So this person said, I rejected opportunities a lot. I see red flags everywhere. And even if in some measure it's good to be careful, I believe I'm so scared of getting a toxic client that I reject lots of opportunities. I let my fears dominate me, stop me, and hold me back. I've been pushed down by my own ambitions, things like earning 100K in 1 year or making 10K a month. Everywhere on the internet, you just find these stories and you want to be a part of that. But the reality, my own reality, is different. I got humbler in my goal now, and I just want to earn enough to provide for myself and be independent. There's no real question here. Just wanted to share a non-successful story. He has 2 interesting updates here. So the first one, someone might say, this life is not for you. Find a 9-to-5 job. I would not give up, and for several reasons, I can't get a 9-to-5 job. I believe this is a personal improvement journey as well as financial, and I will overcome my own limitations and become successful. That's a great mindset to have, actually. And update July 2021. So that's a couple months later. So if you're stumbling upon this post now, closed June at 1.5K and going for the same in July. Got over my fear of dealing with clients. It's just a matter of putting yourself together and getting things done. Wow, okay, that is a great update. That is amazing. Let's remember his best month was actually February, where he made 700 euros. So he pretty much doubled that in the month of June. The user deleted their account. Actually, that's sad because I would love to follow up and see what's going on now, how it's going for him 3 years later. But this is a great example. It started off really sad, honestly. It started really, really bad. And he figured it out. That is really cool. Top comment. Freelancing is tough. I believe people who are good at being disciplined and productive have an easier time. I'm not part of that group, but I've managed to make it work. I'm not part of that group either. My biggest struggle has been putting in the effort to get new clients. What I've learned is that I never miss deadlines. So my strategy has been saying yes to any potential gigs that find me through my network. I've gotten lucky enough to be at the point where I'm getting enough work through referrals, but I know I can't rely on that to happen forever. I would say think about the ways you found your best clients so far and try to replicate that process at least a few times per week. Things like Zoom and phone interviews with potential new clients can be nerve-wracking, but it's worth it when you close at a new high rate. Good luck to you. This is a great point. I think this is one of the worst mistakes most freelancers make. Most freelancers, and by the way, I forgot to say this, but I work very closely with hundreds of freelancers every day. And the main mistake, in my opinion, that most freelancers make is that they don't spend enough time actively searching for jobs. And I don't mean all at once in batches, but just consistently, even just if it's 30 minutes per day, but every day consistently. So what ends up happening is that you have these big waves where like you're extremely busy for sometimes and like you almost have way too much money and you don't have any time at all. So you're like, I cannot waste time doing sales or marketing or anything. Like now I'm busy, I'm working, I have work to do. But then once that work stops, all of a sudden, the next couple of weeks, a couple of months sometimes is just dry, a complete dry spell pretty much. And you're wondering how you're going to pay your next bills. So over a period of a year, it might actually still look pretty good, but you have these really high highs and very low lows. And many freelancers at some point realize that they're getting most of their projects through their network, which is great when it works. And that's probably where like your best work and best projects, best clients are coming from. The problem is that you don't really have control over your network. Let's put it like that. You cannot just accelerate and push out more work from your network. This is the problem. So sometimes you need to spend a little bit more time doing sales or marketing activities that are in your control. This is a great time to tell you about Busy. The AI startup I'm building. So pretty much we built Lynn, which is an AI assistant. Look at it, it's very cute. Every single day it scans all the different freelancing websites, job boards, company career pages, and very soon social media as well to find all the latest jobs and opportunities on the internet. And every single morning, it's going to curate a list of up to 5 opportunities that it thinks are perfect for you based on your interests, preferences, skills, the type of clients you like, budget requirements, the type of clients you don't like, past history, all those different things. It's going to send that every morning to you via WhatsApp and email, whatever is best for you, so that you can reach out and go talk to clients every single day, so that you can build this daily habit. So every morning you can spend 10, 15, 30 minutes, however much time you need to apply to, let's say, 2 or 3 opportunities every single day. After a while, this starts to add up. You want to put yourself in a position where your pipeline is full, where you always know where your next client is going to come from, and you can say no to a project. You can afford to reject a bad client. You can afford to ask for more money from a client. And if they say no, fuck it. We often focus on non-scary but arguably useful activities to avoid scary ones. Hence the days spent perfecting a website versus hustling for clients. I have a spreadsheet divided by months. I track each new contract and its dollar value. I also track earnings per hour and earnings per word on completed contracts. This helps me determine where my time is best spent. The first thing she said right there, you spend time on the tasks that are easy and comfortable to you instead of doing the things that are hard but you know are important. This is genius advice. And honestly, I keep finding myself in this exact same position where I keep doing the things that are easy to me instead of cleaning out my inbox because it's horrible. Set the bottom, middle, and top goal each month. Focus on hitting your minimum, and once you have, begin making improvements. Anytime you don't have paying work to do, work on upskilling, marketing, or creating portfolio pieces. But be smart. The only people who are going to see your websites are the ones you send there. You aren't going to win the SEO game anytime soon. Focus your time on the actions that will get you the best payoff in the shortest amount of time. Oh my God, that was one of the best comments I've ever seen, honestly. That just value on top of value on top of value. This makes so much sense. Unfortunately, when you're a freelancer, you're not just a creative person, you're not just a copywriter, you're not just a marketer. Like you're a business owner now. You're managing your own business. You need to do all this business stuff, like reliably finding clients for yourself. Have you ever read The 4 Agreements? It's a really fast read and helps motivate me when I'm feeling like I'm procrastinating or not cut out to work for myself. I especially focus on the agreement of do your best, because there's a caveat that you do your best based on your current circumstances. Your best when you're healthy and in positive mindset is very different from your best when you're unhealthy or in a negative mindset. Just throwing it out there. It's a journey for sure, but I'll never go back to being an employee. You'll get there. That's very cool, very motivating. Great job on starting. That's the first step. Scary, right? But you did it. Next step, getting consistent work. Repeat work. Some of that comes from doing good work in the first place, and some of it comes from referrals. Ask your clients that are happy with you to refer you to other clients who may be interested. Reach out to old colleagues on LinkedIn. Engage on groups on LinkedIn. Network, network, network to fill the top of your funnel. Build a mix of great clients, middle clients, and crap clients that you will eventually sort out into the clients that are worth it and those that aren't. And then wash, rinse, repeat. Get out of your own way. Procrastinating, etc. doesn't serve you, nor does it serve you to do your website 7 times if that's comfortable work for you. It gets easier over time, but you just have to go for it balls out. Reddit is great. I just love the type of comments you get on Reddit, and people are really useful. Like people are really offering like very valuable advice here. First, you need to get clients. You might have some great clients right away. Good for you. That is great. You might have some middle clients and a lot of crap clients. Those crap clients, you don't want to keep them long term, but they pay your bills right now. So first goal is always pay your bills as fast as possible. You need to get to a point where you're sustaining yourself, even if it's not the type of work you want to do. And then you're a freelancer. You can make your own decisions. You're your own boss. So little by little, once you reach that point where like you can comfortably afford your bills every month, you can start replacing some of those crap clients with little bit better ones, and then better ones, and then better ones. You can ask for higher rates, etc. But first, again, I keep repeating this, you need to put yourself in a position where you can do that. And in my opinion, that's why some of these job platforms are there. That's why some of these crap clients are there. They're just a stepping stone. That's not where you want to spend your life, but it's a stepping stone. Awful clients, bad agencies, how to recover from a traumatic freelancing experience. To keep things brief, for the past year, I worked for a branding agency that didn't pay fairly, withheld pay, and had me challenging my pay almost every month. Equally, its director was always absent and never around to fully manage anything. She often delegated poorly, mismanaged timelines, and would use the excuse of being so busy when things unraveled. Very often, she would make me take the blame for any fallout. She even accused me of poor project management when her own poor management skills affected timelines and deliveries. One example, she insisted on splitting a project in half and delegated the tasks accordingly. When she found out her tasks took more time than mine, she wanted to dock my pay and take it out of my share. Another example, on my last day of work, she told me she wanted a redo of a project that was completed 3 months prior. She said I had two options: to continue to work past my last day without deadline on the project, or deduct this project fee from my last paycheck. This was another stunt of many she would pull to get free work. There are so many more stories like this from her, the list goes on. Compounding on this, I worked with a client for 6 months and was bullied and gaslit throughout. Despite delivering on all agreed projects, they were furious I was quitting my agency because they assumed I would be an employee of theirs. Finally, they connected with my toxic boss and they both aligned themselves to bear down on me, despite me having delivered above and beyond across every front. Last Tuesday was my last day where I finally left this toxic dynamic, but I'm still suffering the aftershock of a year of psychological and emotional abuse. If anyone has any advice on how to get over this, would be much appreciated. Wish I could share the name of this agency and the people involved, but unlike how they treated me, I will observe professional decency. Okay, so this is a hard one. This is a very tricky situation. Top comments, I have simple rules. Always ask for 50% deposit at the beginning of the project and get the fuck out at the first or second red flag from the client. Micromanaging, discussing my prices, thinking I'm his employee, etc. That's good advice. That is pretty good advice. Another comment says, it sucks that you had this experience. Unlike what others here are saying, being treated like shit isn't part of big business. There is room at every scale of business to treat people properly, and those that don't are a poor reflection of their company and don't deserve your time. I completely agree with this. A bad client is a bad client, no matter how much they pay. One thing I've noticed is that the less you charge, the more it seems to attract clients that are hard work and expect the world. I can definitely agree with this. I learned that charging a respectable amount attracts respectable clients who understand fostering good working relationships. All I can say is if you can afford it, take a short break, rest up, put some time into reaching out to new clients, and take on the next challenge feeling refreshed and excited. I can definitely agree on this, and I think most people have had this experience. Small clients are usually the worst ones to deal with. If you're wasting your time haggling for like a couple dollars and cents left and right, every single change is a huge deal. The ones paying a lot are usually not the ones paying late. They're usually a lot more professional, etc. So I think we've all had these experiences of dealing with low paying, extremely annoying clients, and at some point it's just not worth the time and energy that they pay for. There are a ton of clients out there that will respect you and your work. You have to find them and stop staying with nightmare clients for so long. Vet every client before starting a contract and set clear payment terms. I completely agree with this one. I don't know how long he said he was there, but like at least 3 months he mentioned, so he had completed a project 3 months prior. So at some point, like if you know this is a bad client, if this is a toxic relationship, you need to get out, like the first guy said, like you need to get out quick. There's no reason to keep extending a thing. You can write your contracts to avoid this in the future. Firstly, this is why I almost only do hourly or day rates. Then it doesn't matter how many changes the client wants or how slow or incompetent they are. However, I have on occasion done fixed amounts, but only for a very specific amount of work. I will also share my time reports or do weekly status updates on the timeline, if it's still feasible or if we need to change any priorities. And I will also raise the issue about the timeline every single time they ask about a change to the scope. Can we do this instead of this? Sure, nothing is impossible. Let me do some rough estimations on how many hours that would take, and then you can decide if it is a priority busy and want to extend the deadline or go into my retainer or push something else down the priority list that might not make it. Communication is key. It's important that the client understands beforehand how much your contribution will cost them. I give very detailed hourly estimates for my clients early on. And after a few months, they stop asking about it because they know I will flag it if it seems expensive or time consuming, or else just do it quick and efficiently. I'm sorry you had a couple of bad experiences, but remember, you decide how much you charge. You are not an employee. They don't get to dock your pay. I hope you're able to take some time to relax and not think about it for a bit. And then come back and maybe read some articles or watch some YouTube videos about how to write contracts to give you the power to say no. This is really good advice. I would actually be curious to know what everybody watching this video actually think, hopefully more than 5 people, when it comes to hourly pay. So hourly or day rates versus fixed amounts. I was surprised when reading this comment because like in general, most people try to avoid hourly rates. It feels like, at least that's been my experience. Day rates is fine, or for longer periods as well, or fixed amounts. So I would be curious to know, like, what do you think of this? What do you personally do and why? The advice given already is great, but just wanted to add. 1. Do you have a community of freelancers that you are a part of? This has been so helpful for me and very supportive, which helps with getting over experiences like this. In the group, other freelancers flag companies that have treated them badly. It's gotten back to some of the companies with a few group members explicitly stating, due to a negative experience of contractors within my network, unfortunately, I am unable to take on work with your company. That's pretty interesting. That is really great. It gets back to them and less people want to work with them. 2. Therapy. All right, sounds extreme, but sometimes there are a bunch of ways a therapist can strengthen your resolve to stand up for yourself, assert and keep your boundaries. Okay, that's interesting. Such as refusing to work until payment for a certain amount has been made without freaking out. The constant disrespect and gaslighting has probably done a number on your long-term mental health. Yeah, probably. It's honestly fair enough. Number 3, believe that there are wonderful clients and agencies, and what you experience is absolutely the worst. I've worked with branding agencies, and there are some brilliant ones. You deserve pleasant working relationships and experiences. That's a great comment. I found a couple great posts here from a couple years ago of people sharing their worst mistakes and how they solved it. I think most people did these mistakes, so we can almost play a game. Like, I'm just gonna go through this mistake, and you can just keep track of which ones you did or didn't do. I would be surprised if you didn't do at least 50% of them. I made huge mistakes when I started out, and I wish I knew these things earlier. Most of you are probably better than me when it comes to the whole business process, so I bet most of you don't have as many problems as I did. That's a bold assumption to make. Most people are not really good at the business process. That's not the exciting part. Here are the top things I wish I did right at the start. If back then I knew what I know now, life would be much easier. If you're just starting out, you don't want to miss this. First point is demand upfront payment. You need to get paid before you start working on anything. I had tons of clients who ordered a project and then became unresponsive. You'll get plenty of, we decided that we don't need a website after all crap, and all of your hard work will be for nothing. Okay, that's a harsh one. If you demand 50% payment upfront, you won't lose good clients. You'll only lose the bad ones, which is a good thing. Agreed. That is a really good thing, and that's probably true. If in the middle of the process they decide they don't need a website after all, that's fine. 50% of the amount will stay in your pocket and you won't have to deal with them ever again. When the client pays 50% upfront, it becomes in their best interest to finish the project ASAP. They won't say shit like, we'll continue next month or something similar, and the process of finishing the project will be faster. That's a great advice. I'm not sure you're always going to be able to demand upfront payment, but as we said before, you should. And if you can't, you should try to put yourself in a position where you can. That's not very useful to say, but number 2, writing a proposal is a life changer. The proposal is a document that lists every service that you're offering to a specific client. Hosting for 1 year, logo with 3 mockups, unique design, a payment processor, 5 contact forms, 3 custom emails, whatever. Your job is to list the price and everything that you're offering. The proposal is sent to the prospect, who then agrees with it by confirming it via email. With proposals, you can avoid all the extra work clients want you to do for free. A lot of clients demanded more and more from me throughout the web design process, and many 8-hour projects turned into 2 months of nightmare. If the clients want something extra during the design process, you politely decline. I tell them that this is not what we agreed upon, and the best I can do is finish the project the way that it was described in the proposal. Once the project is finished and I receive payment as we agreed, I can create a new proposal and upgrade the site the way they want it. Let me just add on this. You should always be super clear about what is included, what is not included in the offers and the work that you make for clients. And even more than that, if you're discounting something, you should show the full price with the discounts. Clients need to know how much things cost. You need to educate them how much you cost, how much your services cost, but also how much things cost in general. You should always make it super, super clear to clients that this is the full price, but I'm giving you a discount. The price that you're getting from me is not a normal price. It's a discounted price. And you should say why you're giving this discount. If it's because they're a good customer, because it's their first time working with you, because it's a special deal you're running for Christmas, whatever it is. But this is a special discounted price. It is not the price that they should expect from you or from other freelancers every other time. Whatever you do, don't do edits for free. There are no friends in business, and there are clients who will smell your weakness of being available for all kinds of free extra work. Probably true. In the proposal, I offer 60 days of small edits once the project is finished. During that time, clients can contact me and ask for small edits such as larger font here, another phone number in the footer, and so on. I also want an email opt-in form. Is not a small edit, and that's something I'm charging for. After the 60 days are over, I don't move a finger for the site unless something is broken because of me. I had about 20 clients bugging me every month with some additional shit they wanted to be done for the site. Somewhere along the way, I told them my hourly rate, and these clients suddenly realized that their projects are finished. Yeah, when the service is not free, it's not that interesting anymore. But I mean, I'm joking, but like this is really good advice. Like you should be extremely clear with clients about what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, what is free, what is included, what is not included. Number 3, some clients are meant to be turned down. Not every client is for everyone, and there are a lot of clients from hell. If it seems that the client will bring nothing but problems, you are most likely better off declining your services to them. It's hard to do when you're struggling and every dollar counts, but you're better off without idiot clients. Okay, I never heard somebody referring to them like this, but idiot client, yeah, that's a good name. And I go back to my previous advice. First, you need to put yourself in a position where you can do this. But it is true that not all money is worth your time. It's not just the money. It's not just the dollar amount that shows up on the offer. It's everything that comes with it. Yeah, some clients are meant to be turned down, or you should strongly consider turning them down. Don't start working on the project before you have all the needed material. I had tons of clients who sent me 10% of the content needed for their website and asked me to start working with what I got. I did the best I could with what they provided me, and it took weeks or even months for them to send the rest of it so I could finish the project. This totally kills the workflow, and you have to deal with the client for months because most of them will feel that you need to be available for them 24/7 for all the questions they have. Collect the content, finish the work from zero to finish, and then goodbye. Obviously, the client needs to give you everything you need so that you can start. The thing about being available 24/7 for them, this is really important. You should set boundaries. You're running a business. You're a freelancer. You're running a business and you have working hours. Like you're available only from this hour to this hour, from this day to this day. If you start replying to clients at 1 a.m., it might feel great that one time because you're super responsive. So it might come off as very positive, and like I know the feeling. You want to be professional, you want to be responsive, you want to be fast, right? Like I understand all that. The problem is that the second you reply back, even just one time via email at let's say 1 a.m., that is not an exception, that's the expectation. So you have to make it very clear that you're just not available, not because you're not working or whatever, but you have working hours, you're a professional, you stick to the rules that you set for yourself. Next tip, build a portfolio first. If you're new to this, you need a portfolio before anything else because portfolio converts visitors into clients. About 2 months ago, I redesigned my website and made my portfolio more exposed. When visitors land on my landing page, they see my portfolio near the top of the page. Now, when I get calls from new prospects, about 30% of them say something like, "We saw that you made this and this website is great and we want something similar." My conversions went up by about 10%. I want to add a little bit of nuance here because like what this person is saying, I think I agree with mostly in the sense that you need to be able to show your work, show what you're capable of quick on your website. Nobody cares what your name is and that you come from this random village, right? What we care about is what can you do. This is true, but the way he phrased the title, like build a portfolio first, this is often a big mistake. And like we talked about, like you see so many freelancers spending hours and hours and hours, if not weeks, just improving their portfolio, redoing it, rebuilding it, shooting this or creating more work for their portfolio and all these different things. But the thing you're not doing is trying to find clients. And so yes, the portfolio is important, but not more important than the work you put in trying to find clients. And so this is really important. Like yes, it all plays into each other, but I don't want anybody to read this and take this as an excuse to now spend the next 3 days working on your portfolio while your inbox is completely empty. First, you need to get people in your inbox so that you actually have someone to show all the amazing work you've done. Next step, don't undervalue your work. When clients present their wishes, the project always seems easy, but there are always hidden little problems that can easily double or triple the amount of working hours the project is going to take. Take those hours into account and don't undervalue your work. My price for creating a website is about 3 times higher than it was when I first started out. What I noticed is that the clients also get better. The cheapest clients always demand the most, and you're better off without them. Clients with money know the workflow, and they're fully aware that you're not their friend who will work basically for free. Great advice, and we already talked about this. And I really like the point when the user mentioned that their price is 3 times higher than it was when they started out. You should always increase your price as you get better, as you get more clients, as you improve your portfolio, your profile, your network, all these different things, your price should increase. You're better than you were 6 months ago, and the price should reflect that. Don't set a fixed price. Okay, surprising tip. Clients want a fixed price for everything, but that's not how it should work in the web design world. Okay, let's see. I'm currently making a website for a client who wanted the site to be done on a WordPress team. It's a well-known team, but it has plenty of problems in the code itself. Secondary logo doesn't keep the right dimensions on Firefox, CSS is totally screwed up, lots of things are screwed up on mobile. Okay, in my proposal, I said the price is from X to Y, and because the team is screwed up, the price is absolutely going to be closer to Y. But prices should always be closer to Y, no matter what. Okay, so you're giving a range instead of having a fixed price. I can understand how that might be better for you as a freelancer, but I can also imagine that that might make negotiations much more complicated with the client, right? So I'm actually curious, does anybody else do this? What do you think of this strategy? I can imagine it working, but again, I keep saying the same thing. Put yourself in a position where you can do this. Either clients respect your work enough, like they want to work with you specifically, so you know it's not about the price. Some type of clients, if you're dealing with higher end, higher paying clients, that difference might not be that much. They care about quality, so it's easier to charge more. Or maybe you can afford to do this because your pipeline is full and you already have a couple other projects lined up. Whatever the reason is, this is a great strategy. I'm just wondering how it's received from the other side. If you're new to this, you need a portfolio before anything else. To get the portfolio faster, take projects for lower price or even pro bono. If you know of a website that has lots of traffic but looks outdated, don't be afraid to reach out. Ask them if they want a redesign. Tell them that you're building a portfolio and your price is attractive as hell. If you do a good job, they won't have problems on thanking you on their website, Facebook group, or anywhere else. Okay, this is a tricky one because this is exactly what I was saying before. Like on one side, like you need a portfolio to be able to show what you're capable of to clients. That is true, but you'd be surprised at how little you need sometimes, especially if you're going for lower prices or pro bono or whatever. You just need the bare minimum just to get that first client, and then you have a first client so you can get a second one so you can keep on going there, right? You just need one person to say yes one time and pay you, even if it's not a lot, just to get started. Then there's the whole topic of underpaying, etc. And for example, spend a lot of time with photographers. There's a whole debate about how you should price your work and should you do work for free or not. And it's a whole thing, right? You can make the argument that like you're driving prices down for everyone else, for the industry, etc. Especially if you say you're reaching out to a website that has a lot of traffic but looks outdated or whatever, and you're offering your services for free. We could argue that that is the sort of client that would have the money to pay for a professional, to pay like full price, right, for the service. And so by you doing it for free, you're kind of lowering the price for the whole industry, etc. Now setting the expectations for everyone out there in the world that this sort of stuff is free or very cheap, right? So that is a negative thing, which, yeah, okay, fair enough. But then on the other side, you're running a business at the same time and you need to get going. And so if the easiest way for you to get going is to do work for free temporarily or to heavily discount your rates so that you can get clients and build your portfolio, etc. I don't think that's wrong. Like, I don't think you're doing anything wrong with that. You're just getting clients and giving discounts and doing whatever you need to do to be able to set your business and build a life from it. But again, I can understand, because then we get into that circle where now you're good enough, you have a portfolio, etc., and you're offering full price, then there's always somebody that can offer a discounted rate on whatever it is that you're doing. So this is going to be a constant challenge. But just to be clear, I agree with the idea. You're building your own business. First, pay your own bills, and then we'll see about the rest. So if you need to do work for free, pro bono, or like super discounted, whatever, just to get the experience, just to build a portfolio, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. Go for it, you know? Next tip, focus on long-term partnerships. You build a site, the client pays, and that's it. Hit and run is good for short term, but long-term money is in long-term partnerships. That's very true. Maybe offer a fixed monthly fee for your backups and maintenance, hosting services, anything that will make the small payments from the same client coming in. You have other services to offer as well, SEO, advertising, even better. Once the project is finished, offer those as extra. This is great. Once you have a client, upsell, sell more services, sell more stuff, sell them additional stuff, keep them coming back. There's a statistic on this, I forgot the number, but it's a lot easier and significantly easier to sell to an existing client that you already have a relationship with, especially if they're happy with your services, than to find a new client. So take that small client and turn them into a big client. There's a comment here from another user, and I really like what they have to say. They're saying that you should stop calling yourself a freelancer. You are a small business owner. I recently rebranded this past year because the leads I was getting from my freelance portfolio site were people looking for Fiverr pricing. I now take advantage of the SEO I have for this site to point people to my new site, which was branded as a niche web design studio. This is a great tip, honestly, and very similar to the mistake that most people make where you're underpricing yourself. I've noticed that sometimes you have some freelancers that are doing exactly the same thing. They're literally a freelancer, but because you have a website as an agency, now you can ask agency pricing. What happens on the back? Doesn't matter. Don't tell the client, don't let them know. But the fact that you're selling yourself as an agency, you have access all of a sudden to a whole different group of clients that don't want to work with freelancers. They want to work with agencies for whatever reason, right? But the fact is that the image people have of you is very different. You're not just one person working from their bedroom. All of a sudden, you're an agency. You might be very small, and on the back, it might still be just you in your mom's bedroom, but you're an agency now. And so the type of clients you have access to, the relationship you have with those clients is very different. So there's a lesson here somewhere about branding. Let's just go through another great story here. Hit my first 10K per month as a freelancer. Here's what I learned and my biggest mistakes. I'm a 24 female copywriter, scriptwriter with 5 years of digital strategy, content creation experience. When the pandemic hit early this year and I lost my 9 to 5, I realized that after searching for weeks and being unable to find a job, I could just work remotely. So I started doing just that. I signed up for Fiverr, a freelance platform, and have made over 5K to date. Net earnings, not gross. This is surprising. I don't often hear people sharing their earnings from Fiverr, so this is very interesting. I always price to match my value. Instead of $5 gigs, average sale is 100. So I've met awesome clients and haven't had a nightmare client yet. During month 4, an entrepreneur offered me a 50K vice president position after seeing my Fiverr profile and reviews. It fell through due to another company delaying their launch timeline, but the offer still stands for when they do launch, which is pretty cool. This is amazing. Okay, you don't often hear like such positiveness when it comes to Fiverr or other freelancing platforms. This is great. So onward to the $10,000 milestone. A Fiverr client of mine put me in touch with an entrepreneur they knew that needed my skills. Can't disclose all the details due to confidentiality, but they're working with a major YouTube channel to promote a fantasy series. After a week of back and forth, they trusted me and put down a $2,500 deposit to start working for about 2 weeks. After that, they and their team loved my work so much, they gave me another $7,500 to finish the rest of the project. Amazing. Well, first of all, congrats. This is great. And here's what I learned. Be confident. If you don't believe in yourself, it will translate to everyone you're around. If you don't believe in you, then others will take your word for it and not believe in you either. Damn, the way she wrote that, harsh but true. Be healthy. Workaholic tendencies don't equal success. My biggest milestones were achieved when I ate well, got good sleep, and overall took care of myself and worked less. I made more money than I ever have this year, and I've worked less than I ever have in my life. I wish I could go back and tell younger me about how much time she was wasting. If you aren't healthy, your productivity will go down. Busy isn't productive. Be proactive. Don't post and pray on social media. After all, when was the last time you purchased a service or hired someone because of a social media post? That rarely happens. You need trust to get clients, not just online activity. So go get trust by being involved with already trusted sources. Talk at industry events. Ask podcasts and radio show hosts if you can get an interview. Ask industry members to collaborate. There are people out there that need you, but they can't find you if they don't know you exist. Amazing. I said the same thing in my other video, except nobody watched it. I'm jealous. Here's mistakes I've been making throughout my entire career. Number 1, who you know is so much more important than what you know. Get out there and network. And no, I don't mean aimlessly shaking hands with everyone in the room. Hone in on the people you want to serve. For me, that's entrepreneurs that need content and don't have the time or interest to do it themselves, but also have the money to invest in high quality services. That's very true. And I keep seeing people making pretty much the same mistake, which is that you need to network. That's something that everybody says. And yes, who you know is more important than what you know, etc. So yeah, okay, we get it. Network is important. And so you go to some random industry event and start talking to everyone. This is frustrating because you already don't want to network anyways. You would rather probably be out there doing your thing. There's things you need to learn about how to network, and she mentioned some great examples here. It's not just about going out there and shaking hands. You need to focus on the right people. And I would add that even harder than this, networking is not just adding people to your network on LinkedIn. No matter how good that might look or how good it might sound, you need to actually build a relationship with them. And she mentioned this before with the trust. It's the same as when you're posting on social media. You just posting on social media doesn't build trust. Like, okay, cool, there's this guy posting his photography work on Instagram, but whatever. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're likable. I don't know how experienced they are. I just saw a picture. And so you need to build trust. And so networking, yes, building real relationships with people is one way. Or if you're going to go the social media route, you need to create content that has depth, right? That tells us about you, not just what you do, but who you are, what goes into it, why does this matter to you? You know, everything that people in real life and your friends probably know and care about. Ask yourself, like, why do you trust the people that you trust, right? Number 2, don't get so busy that you have no time to market yourself. Oh my, okay, this is a great one. In the beginning of my career, I invested in my digital strategy clients so much that I didn't have time to grow my own online presence. Long term, that made my career way harder than it needed to be, and I'm certain I've earned less than I could have because of it. 100%. That is definitely true. And one thing that keeps happening with most freelancers I know is these huge up and down cycles where the highs are very high, but the lows are also very low. If you're not consistently investing time in sales and marketing, you have no control over your funnel. You don't have a filled pipeline where you know where the next project is going to come in. And also, once the low cycle shows up and like you're not sure how you're going to pay your bills this month, you have no levers you can pull to actually get more clients to you. There's nothing you can do. Like if your Instagram account has like 50 followers and you never post on it, posting 5 times that week is not going to get you more clients, right? You need to be able to build these different channels for yourself so that you know clients will always be coming to you from one of these different channels. And you can invest a little bit more on one or the other and pull these levers, etc. But this is that long-term stuff you need to be building. And as we just said before, don't think of yourself as a freelancer. You're a business owner. That you like it or not, you're running a business and you need to do all this business stuff now. Number 3, have a simple and automated process for client onboarding. I use DocuSign for client contracts and Kajabi to generate checkout pages and of course landing pages, etc. This let me and my client finalize a collaboration within minutes. Smart. I just love one of these comments here, which says, "This is awesome. Wow, congrats." And yeah, congrats indeed. I love how you didn't discount Fiverr. You put in your work, got experience and credentials, and then network your way to a higher paying gig. Amazing stories. And she replies with, "Thank you. Go after your dreams knowing that they're still possible even now. Also, I really recommend finding people in your niche that have achieved the results you want. They are the best people to learn from, and that's partially what got me to where I am today, especially when it came to improving my mindset." Honestly, I've got nothing to add. This is amazing. Another comment says, "I noticed a bitter response to this earlier. I will just say, I've read a lot of these sort of success stories, and many of them reach high points when a connection or a big client comes out of nowhere after the writers have built themselves up. So whatever or not you believe OP got lucky, there's nothing stopping you from doing the same. Put yourself out there, start writing and deliver your best work, build relationships with your client, profit to varying degrees until you hit the jackpot." This is an amazing story. And if you liked it, you should definitely watch this other video right here where I asked 100 freelancers how they actually get clients. And I shared everything I learned with you directly. Last but not least, let's go a little bit more specific. Mistakes that people made on Upwork. Hello everyone, I wish you a happy new year. I'm sharing with you some of the mistakes I did on Upwork so you can try to avoid them. My name is Youssef. I'm an architect on Upwork since 2017, landed my first job in 2018 with 10K plus earnings. Number 1, accepting job offers that I cannot do. Yes, okay, we're starting off well. That's a very bad mistake to make. Number 2, wasting my connects on jobs that I thought that I could be hired in, all right? Number 3, not updating my portfolio, okay? Number 2 and number 3 are not like dramatic, right? These are just like optimization things. Number 4, leaving Upwork for a long time when I have enough money. So not keeping up with the platform, right? This is a tricky one because you do want to play the game, but at the same time, you don't want to be reliant on any single platform, right? As a business, again, you're running a business, you cannot be dependent on one single client, and you cannot be dependent on one single channel or acquisition source. So let's say you're making, even if you're making like 20K a month on Upwork, somebody at Upwork could wake up tomorrow morning and just ban your account completely. What do? You're fucked. Your whole business is gone, right? The same thing with YouTube, for example, or social media channels. It's great to do well on Instagram or YouTube, etc. But long term, you have to move that audience elsewhere and build other channels, because you never know what's going to happen. You're building on rented land. You don't own Upwork, you don't own YouTube. Your account there could get banned, the rules could change, anything can happen tomorrow, and your business is gone, right? This is a tricky one, because like if it works, if you're doing well on Upwork, you want to reinvest in the channels that are working well for you, but at the same time, you cannot be too dependent on one channel. So that's a tricky one. Number 5, not paying enough attention to job descriptions. Okay. Number 6, not negotiating about extra work that me and the client didn't discuss before getting hired. Yes, that's a big one. You should charge for those things. Other people shared some of the worst mistakes that they made. So for example, accepting a job that was too low pay. I was just so eager to get anything that I didn't put myself first. Also, accepting low pay decreases the value of mine and others' work, which is worth more. It hurts everyone. It also led to rush jobs to get work done in a shorter time since it was lower pay. That is very true, but I feel like this is one of those mistakes that literally everyone has made. This is a really easy one to make, honestly. This is normal. This one is very interesting. I was not getting enough responses, so I used to apply to so many jobs in a single day that it even worsened the situation. Second thing I realized, same as you, that I was applying to jobs without confirming the deliverables, and many times ended up with low ratings. I was not really getting responses over the platform, so on Upwork. And so whenever I got responses, I take up the job even with a low budget, and believe me, that sucks. Currently, I apply to only one job a day for a good project only, and in a week, I get one response. So it's wonderful and it's working for me. At slow pace, but steadily, I'm getting better and better results. This is great. This is a great strategy, right? I'm surprised actually at that first sentence when the user said that applying to too many jobs actually worsened the situation as well. Because I would assume that having too many offers is a really good problem to have. It's still a problem, but it's a good one to have, right? So I'm surprised at this response, but I really like the conclusion. One really good project per day, and then per week you get at least one response. And this is the consistency that I was talking about. You need to have a rule. It doesn't matter if it's daily, it could be weekly or monthly, whatever, but you cannot just do sales whenever you feel like it. You cannot just wake up one morning and, oh, okay, I'm going to go hard on Instagram for like a week and then never again for the next 3 months, and then I'll be back again for just a week, right? That does not work. I had a few times where I had some promising back and forth conversations with a potential client, and they ended the conversation with some vague remarks like, we still have some things to sort out internally and the project won't start until a few weeks later. I'll contact you again then. I made the mistake of believing those words a bit too sincerely and actually waiting for the follow-up messages. A couple of times, such clients did come back after a while with real projects, but now I just move on when something like that happens, pretending that it never happened until they actually write back. I mean, you can follow up. You should probably follow up. You can schedule those follow-ups in advance. But yeah, if it's not a hell yeah, right now, let's do it, it's a no. It's probably a no. All right, one last lesson I would like to share, and this is something I learned from interviewing almost 1,000 freelancers at this point and working with them closely, is that you should spend more time reaching out not to potential clients, but to other freelancers, other professionals in your field that are a little bit further ahead than you. This is a great way to learn more. So you can reach out, for example, to them on LinkedIn, on Instagram, anybody you admire, etc. Just reach out and ask a question. Most people are really happy to spend a couple of minutes telling you about all the stuff they do or how they solve this problem or how they did that, etc. People love to talk about themselves. So you should definitely take this as an opportunity to reach out to some of these people who are a little bit further ahead than you. Ask them questions, learn from them. And now that you're starting to talk to them, you're also networking. So you're making new connections. And as a bonus, as we know, your best clients come from your connections as well. And these people are further ahead than you. So not only are you going to get advice, not only are you meeting new people, you might actually get clients from this. This is not a guaranteed strategy. This takes time, and it's something that you need to do over long periods of time. But it is a great strategy that allows you to kind of like hit multiple goals in one. Conclusion: it's a great habit to have, to just reach out to a couple people further ahead than you, people you admire from time to time, and try to spark up a conversation, try to learn from them, ask them a quick question, and you never know what might come out of it. Aside from this, I've been talking for a really long time, so I hope this video was valuable. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. Most importantly, share your learnings and the worst mistakes you've made in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you again for another video. See you soon.